listeners of YouTube. This is Dr. Bev again. And last night I spoke to you and the night before, and I had a few subjects that I wanted to discuss. The ones I'm going to discuss today is the FBI torture and the FBI surveillance that has been going on now for more than 20 years, without my knowledge and permission. But we'll start with the torture because it's a very severe and serious injustice against me. Because it brings pain and suffering. But I just want to just discuss slightly how the FBI inflicts such hateful, evil thing against another person, torture. As I explained yesterday about the implants, I had mentioned a device that is just above the capacitor. It's just above my ear, close to the eye. And it's a device I really don't know anything about. I couldn't find on anything. All I know is that it's very hurtful. The FBI know it's also used, the radio frequency that's used on the coil and the capacitor. But what the FBI does, within a 2,300 feet distance, is they use the RF type of device to activate pain and suffering. Basically, how it feels, I can explain. What it does or how it causes that, I really don't know. But what it does is when they activate it, a ringing in my ear starts, real terrible ringing, hateful, evil ringing. And at times I'll go in and out of consciousness. So I have to double up on the foil paper to avoid that. And they usually do that at nights when I'm sleeping. I'll wake up and this awful ringing and I begin to sweat and just in and out of consciousness. And this is something I've been living with now since the 24th of June, 2014. And this is something they're trying to use when they can't use the capacitor that's attached to the coil. They use that. They're using that to try to cause my demise. There's not much more I can say about that except how it feels and what their intent is. So I just want to turn to their surveillance. The first time I really noticed the FBI following me, and I have proof of it. I have photographs of them following me, and I even have them trying to contact me. And this started when I was in Germany, apparently. They did follow me the day before I had the surgery on the 23rd of June, 2014. I saw them following me to various stores in Munich, one of them called in the Euro store, which is almost like the dollar store here. I saw two men following me. When I got back to the hotel I was staying at the time, I had just gotten there. I saw them follow me that night to that store, and also when I went to the Aldi's, which they have over in Germany. The Aldi's was right behind the hotel where I stayed. And this gentleman came in, and I have a photograph of him. He came into the store, and I was at the cashier's station getting ready to ring out my goods. And he walked up behind him, and he was waving actually at me, but I didn't know him, so I never waved back. I thought he was waving at one of the other people that were there at the cash register. But then I didn't see anybody wave back, but I just ignored it. When after I bought my stuff, excuse me, and began to walk out the door, I noticed him coming out behind me. But again, I still paid no attention to it, and I went across the street and towards my hotel, which went through in front of a theater and around the corner to the door of the hotel. And I heard footsteps behind me, and I turned around and I saw him, and he tried to dodge. The same man. And I heard his footstep all the way till I got to the door of the hotel. I ran inside the hotel and I called one of the workers in the hotel. And we both came back outside and we saw him running down the street. Well, the next day, the day of the surgery, again I saw that same man following me. And I knew it had to be some kind of connection. But when I knew for sure that it was him, two ways. The first thing he did, he sent me not an email, but through a social media type, something more like, or what's that media coverage? But anyway, he picked me up on that media coverage. He knew my name and everything, and he knew my email. And he was sending a message to me saying, "Oh, I would like to know who you are, know about you and your family," all these things. I still have that email. And I didn't know who he was, but I wanted to get him to say something. And he was sending back and forth because that's the only way I could get a full picture of him. And I was able to do that, and once I got it, I blocked him. I do have that photograph, and I did turn that into the Congress and to the Senate. But again, when I came back to the United States in 2008, 18 I should say, I was in New Jersey, and I went to a Staples store, and here he came. He walked into the store and was asking, while I was there making some printouts, he asked the gentleman that was working over the counter there in Staples, asked him about making business cards. I knew right then when he said that he was the man, and he was just there to follow me, because I know for sure he was FBI, and the FBI, their cards are made by GSA for all the agencies. So I knew then, and again I was able to get another picture of him, the same man, so I knew the FBI was following me. But there's more to it than just that. The FBI has people following me 24/7, now and then. In the last couple of months, say from this past April to now, the FBI has been sending hundreds of people, and I have all the license plate. What the FBI did, they had a job application in the local newspaper here in Maryland, and it stated that it was the position was investigator, assistant investigator. I have copies of that. The payment was $150,000 a year, and that's what they had all spread over Joint Base Andrews and around that area. Most of the people were military veterans, but all of them were black, male, and most of them, I would say 90% of them, had their heavily tinted cars, and they would follow me all the time. They had their lights on 24/7 every time, and they would follow me, and I would stop sometime and hide behind the corner as they passed by, and I would get their license plate. I was able to collect 149 license plate, and I turned all those over to the U.S. Congress and the U.S. Senate. To date, the FBI still follows me 24/7. There's nothing I can do to stop them because they know my car and they have keys to my car. So this is what I've been going through. I have no privacy at all. And of course, you know, they're trying with the tracking device. They use my phone. I have 4 phones, and they're always monitoring and controlling the phones. So these are some of the things I've gone through with the FBI. I can't say too much about how uncomfortable my life is. The FBI controls everything. For example, something that just happened on the 4th of this month. I was on my way to Texas and with a family member. We stopped to get some gas. We went into the service station no more than 10 minutes. I had an attaché case in my car. My family member and I stepped away from the car just for a few minutes. When we came, the attaché case was gone. It had quite a few documents in there, and the FBI took it because what they're trying to do is to basically get all the evidence I have that's possible.
4 minutes.
And but I know, so I have at least 4 copies of every documentation I have on them. I know the thing that they have in the surveillance is they also have parents with children following me. It's called entrapment. The FBI has no evidence of me hurting any child or anyone for that matter. So they send parents to bring their kids around me, hoping that I'll speak to the kids so they can arrest me. I know that's never going to happen because I'm not going to speak to any child. I never have hurt anyone, but I won't speak to them because I will not give the FBI the benefit of getting me in their custody under these lies and all these defamation that they've done against me. So there's so much more, and it's so complicated. But I will explain more about the entrapment situation on my next time speaking to you. So I just want to say again, please, thank you so much for your patience, and thank you for listening to my problem, hoping that one day it might help somebody out there. Again, thanks, and good night.